Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and this is the K-pop challenge from the first season of Street Woman Fighter. Now this one that we're going to be watching is Prowdmon versus Wayb, and this one was the hardest to find footage for, most likely because of the music itself. I was only able to find one video of Prowdmon. It was mirrored and it was them on stage, and then with Wayb it was their practice one from in the actual Street Woman Fighter arena, and it was also mirrored. So I do apologize for that. I wish I could have dug a little bit deeper and found more accurate performance footage, but there is also a chance that this will never see the light of day on YouTube. So if you do see it on YouTube, we made it, we passed copyright. If you do not see this on YouTube and you're seeing it on Patreon, that's why, because it was so difficult to get the footage. So it makes sense why you're not able to see it on YouTube, if that's the case. Anyway, but I had not seen the K-pop challenges whenever I live streamed this, which is why I'm wearing something different here than what I was wearing in the reaction. And so I walked through it, gave my notes, compared and contrast, of course factoring in the circumstances of lighting and costuming and all of that in time frame. And I also took a guess of who I think took it as well. So I enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. Woo! Hey! It don't get no fresher. I love this setup here. I love their costume. This is great. Whoa. Yeah. I know this is Wavy's choreo because of the little boxes there. Yeah, shopping spree in Tokyo. Wake up in my private jet, made us in Tokyo. Flipping cards in Macau. Nigga, take the knockout. Stop blowing up my phone and won't you hit me up on Kakao? Woo! My grill and I'm by your new guy. Skin tone, 2 carats gold I got in Dubai. My boys won't hesitate to run up on your boys. My boys won't hesitate to run up on your boys. Yum, yum. Interesting. They're taking a more simpler approach to this part, which is interesting. Yeah. Huh. Oh, I like the usage of the chains. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at that, guys. These two songs kill. I love the Dr. Pepper song so much. It's such a vibe. Not because I like Dr. Pepper. I mean, that is one reason, but it's just I love CL's tone so much. This beginning is such a great setup to the song. It's just, and fun fact, in the Hello, that one, Request was in that, so Kirsten was a backup dancer for CL for that part. So part of me is just like, because we know Kirsten is a Jam Republic for the second season, part of me is like, man, it would have been so cool to see. Like, there's a lot of these songs in the K-pop realm that Kirsten's a part of course Vada's a part of, and a lot of these people are a part of. So it's really cool that we get to see kind of nuances of all of that here, which is really cool. I love the presence that she has in the front. Like, this is so nice. Hey, yeah. I love that they're talking about, of course, it's about Dr. Pepper, so they use the imagery of having a can. I love the wordplay. And this one, too, there's something to note here, is that both songs are in English here, right? So I would say that these crews had a disadvantage because all the other tracks, even Jessie, they had more Korean than English. Or it's simpler English. I mean, of course, Jessie knows English, and most of her tracks have heavy English. So I would say, like, it's what we've watched has gotten progressively harder and harder for the crews to actually emulate the true essence of the songs, because they get more and more in English, especially if they're not super fluent in it. So I love that, I wish that they like really commit, instead of just keeping the same groove for all of this. I really like the polyrhythmic moments that they're having here, which is really great and difficult to do as a group. I feel like having more dynamic than just marching, like maybe leaning it over, you know, changing the angle entirely. I feel like they were so close. They were like almost there with that choice. Like they leaned there, but like really lean, you know? So that was fun. Clean, it don't get no fresher. Like she hit it and they like leaned over down to the front. I think that was really cool. They could have really committed to that a lot more aggressively and come to the front. But also that was still really cool. Yeah, under pressure, matching what she's doing in the front. Hey, throw, and then they go here. So we know that this is Wayb's choreo. It does feel, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, march, march, hit. So it's hitting on the and counts and the whole count, so it's not as complex. I feel like Wayb didn't really give them as difficult, because remember, you know, I would consider YG the mana queen of this season when it comes to really messing and overly challenging their opposing crew. So I feel that here, I don't think they were challenged enough with this section. I don't think Wayb gave them something hard enough, you know. But also this could have been what they bring to the table, which is fine, you know. But I would say that they're holding this down part mighty fine. That was a clean cut too. Spree and Toki. This is all in English. Could be my private jet. Yeah, so they're hitting that boom into the trap in the sound. But then you have just little baby nuances of Korean because she wanted to integrate that. But I know this was an English release, like into America. Cacao. I like her usage of her wrist and everybody's using their head. That was fun. Yeah. Don't do carrots, gold eye, and Dubai. Yeah. Cartwheel. Now, notice how she landed out of that cartwheel whenever she landed and then she melted down into there. I really feel like they could have been smoother because it did look like she didn't 100% land as well as she needed to. And then because whenever you land and then just seeing if we could have seen her body like melt to the floor, that would have been really nice moment there. But it just looked like, okay, a cartwheel and then she's just transitioning. So this cartwheel, probably because she didn't have straight legs in her cartwheel, like it felt like she was just doing it to get into something. And then I mean, it matches the music pretty fine, but like her leg, whenever you're doing a lot of these extensions, the importance is the value of the straight leg. And you just see a slight bend of the knee a lot. You'd be surprised at how many dancers actually struggle to fully lengthen their leg. It has to come with the hamstrings. And sometimes it has to come with the hip flexor, because whenever you try to extend your leg, a lot of times you have to really think about cranking out and turning out from the hip. And sometimes people think about the calf, but you don't really think about the knee. You have to think about the flexibility there, and as you lift, you want to make sure you're lengthening through the entirety of the extension. And so that's why sometimes you get that kind of leg. That doesn't surprise me, but also it does affect how it looks. And also notice that she is holding it and there was a slight reverb, not intentionally, like she hit it and then it kind of wavered a little bit and then she locked it down. Those are just really little details. But I love the framing that they chose to do here. So you have them framing like it's getting lower, like she's our lowest, and then we have people that are more that a little bit higher than her and then a little bit higher than her and then a top, and then you have a feature over here. So that was really nice. I like that. Bum bum bum. And then tum tum. Yeah, so they hit that tum 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 and then she's hitting that feature. Well, you know what? I say this whole course is in Korean. So, you know, I take back what I said. I would say this probably has about the same amount of English as Jessie's does and vice versa. So, I mean, but the Dr. Pepper one is in English. That was fun. Da 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 bum bum bum. That was fun. Then they come up. Now I do find it interesting that because she says it in Dr. Pepper, but they didn't zoom it out. But here they did, and I wonder if that's why it got taken down. I have no idea. Copyright, whatever have you. Hey. So let me go back here. So there's something interesting I noticed whenever they would be frozen. They use the whole 8 count to just be like, and then they pop off. Doo-doo. Hey. I noticed they all went high, low, reset here. Love the usage of the prop here. I really wish they used it more. I don't know if it's stationary, if it can move. I'm assuming it's stationary, but I love the fact that they used it behind here. I think they could have done a lot more framing around there. I think that would have been so sick instead of using it just at the end. You know, that's just my only note. Whenever you have props or you have stage stuff like this, just like whenever we saw 1mil and Mana Queen use stairs, they used the stairs. Do you know what I mean? So I think, like, for me, I'm very prop sensitive, because if you're gonna have the investment, at least on our end, we pay for our props, and we have to pay for props and pay for people to make the props. We really got to use the prop to make it feel like we're not just, oh look, a pole, or oh look, an umbrella, and we just like use it twice and put it down and don't look at it. Like, it's just a waste of money, and it's a waste of a prop. So I really wish that, I feel like they had really cool opportunities. They could have used this prop more if they position it in a different spot or whatever, but it was a really nice way to frame their set. This was nice. I will say that ending was a bit underwhelming, because, you know, we just had our front dancer here. She just backed them all up, which, I mean, is cool, but they should have finished. And they just like got in position on the da 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 versus da 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 da, like approaching it and more of like a killer finish. Like, it didn't feel like as big of a finish as it could have been, but the lighting really helped, you know. But for me, I always try to train my dancers personally, or whenever I look at choreo, you can't rely upon outside circumstances. Sometimes if you think, okay, if you take this choreo and isolate it away from your lighting and away from your props and away from your costume and away from, oh, you feel good that day, and you look at the content and the formations and the music and all of that, how captivating was it? You know, I really feel like the lighting really helps these crews, and I feel like the costuming really helps a lot of these crews as well. It's not a bad thing. I think it's great, and we get to experience it and enjoy dance in this way. But do I feel that this dance had some gaps of missed opportunities? Yes. I think that's my overall note for Prowdmon, but this was really nice. They matched the music well. They matched the CL energy that comes with her being an artist well. So I don't have minimal complaints. Here we go in all its glory. This is Wayb. Very strong start from them. They cleaned it up there. Feeling so clean. Now their arms are super not clean here, and that's affecting the overall aesthetic of it. Dr. Pepper. Hey. Hey. I feel like I see what they're trying to do, but it's not hitting as clean as it needs to. Whether it's putting up, you know, it's the fact that they're here and they're not on stage with multiple takes. I don't know. Okay. She also had to fix her hat there. Okay, so my big note for them here, I would say, out of most of the crews, like, here's the thing, they could have approached it with so much more power, cleaned up a lot of these things on stage, but I mean, all I have to work with is literally this. So going from the top here, how they started this D, like, that was really strong start. I love that. I love the switching of the frames. I really do love that. And let me just say, I really like the choices that they were trying to make, but you have to factor in try. They were trying to make these choices, and the key word in that is the try, right? They are not fully not investing. It really looks like they're hitting these things, but their body is not quite at the ability yet to be able to match the other members' stage presence or like their way that they execute it. It really feels like none of them are on the same page on how these moves are supposed to be hit, and that is detrimental to your crew as a group. It is a huge thing that you will be docked so fast on cleanliness on, and a lot of times people can't get past how lack of clean you are. They can't appreciate the other aspects of your choreography, which is very unfortunate. I really like some of these choices that they're making, but it is very unfortunate that they are not executing these choices that they are putting up the way that they need to. You know, even there, some of them cut off that final swing and some of them let it go. It's little things like that. I would say my dancer right here is the biggest example of cutting off her movements, which is affecting the cleanliness of this entire thing. It looks like she doesn't know it as well. Some people are hitting up with the arm, some of them are not. Yeah, so like, I like the energy they're trying to bring. It's just not hitting at all. Yeah, and some of them go a huge sustain and then go into it, and the other ones go straight into it. That kind of stuff affects your cleanliness and what part of the music you want me as an audience member to hear through your movement. Yeah, a lot of them are really locking up their torso in certain grooves because it's either how they were trained or their body's not familiar with the groove as much yet. Yeah. Also, this move right here with the slaps there, they're not using that back at all. And a lot of them, they're trying to do a lot of overheads and they're not using their back, and so it's coming across more stagnant, I think. And this whole part here, I feel like it looks like my dancer in the center, like, it's just doesn't know what to do, and so she's just making stuff up on the spot. And there's a difference between like, this is the vibe I want to go for, and I'm making things up, and this is just a placeholder. It's really what it felt like. Yeah, it really did. Just in that moment, it's just either from her face or just from her posture. That's what it looked like. And some of them already had their hands up and some of them did not. And I think it was like one person had her hands up already and the others didn't. Yeah, look, she already had them up and then those three did not. My real new guy. Yeah, it's just a part of me that's not like giving, like stopping and going through each little thing. Is because the really big problem has already been kind of stated, and I really don't want to feel like I'm beating a dead horse on it. Yeah, well, like, you know, there's just some choices are not symmetrical on both sides, and it's affecting the cleanliness. And it feels like they're really trying to extrovert their movement, but their body's not letting them. And so it just feels like a huge disconnect from the torso to the extremities that I'm seeing here. Like, that was nice. I like this. Boom. Hey, they're trying to make a circle around her. But even the spacing is, you had a huge gap with one dancer. And normally whenever you do that transition, it's to make it even, so you at least see a glimpse of that formation. But because I'm familiar with that traffic pattern, I know what they were going for. But even then, it still wasn't as clean as it could have been. And notice that some of them are really keeping it up and not really using their lower half as much, because we saw a group similar to this. I think it was YGX, I think, did something similar to that in their K-pop set, and it was really strong. Yeah, even there, like, I like the moment they were trying to go for, they just weren't on the same page. I like, you know. Yep, and some people besides the feature are moving when it looks like they're not supposed to, or vice versa. Even there with those overheads, I know they're trying to hit that little section in the back. It wasn't big here. Yep, so then you had my people in the second line, they were the ones throwing their hands, but one of them stopped throwing hands and the other one kept going. And it's just, Normally that kind of stuff would be fine if the context of what you demonstrated before shows that you guys are all on the same page. Then when you're not on the same page, people are more gracious to you because they're like, oh, that was on purpose. All of this doesn't look like intentionality when they're off. It just looks like they're off, you know? And I feel like I'm so frustrated at the fact that I could not find this version, like them on stage against Prowdmon. Like, I really feel like we're looking at it. It's very unfair of these observations that I'm making here. I really feel like they probably brought a very different vibe onto the stage, and there's a chance that Prowdmon would have been this messy if we saw their take, but I could not find it anywhere. Yeah, even there with the hands too. It's just, that's my big note. Yeah, okay. So all in all, like, let's just say hypothetically, if I were to choose out of the two, I'm going to go off of a couple factors. I'm not going to think about the costume. I'm not going to think about the props. I'm not going to think about the lighting. I'm just going to isolate the content that I saw, the execution of the content that I saw, not the potential, but the content itself. So if I'm just strictly looking at the content, I think Wayb had some very interesting choices that they made, but also they had very predictable choices that were made to the music. I do feel that they attempted more complexity in certain sections in comparison to Prowdmon, but I feel that Prowdmon, they were overall significantly cleaner. And sometimes too, even when you have a run like this is still a recorded run. This is still a run. I don't know if it's like, I just feel like there's a really high chance that Prowdmon is just, the level of cleanliness is different. Like, I would say that Prowdmon would have been cleaner still in this context than than the other way around, if that makes sense. So I feel that I would give it to Prowdmon for this one, not because of lighting or any of the other factors, but because of the choices, and they rode the rhythm in very clear ways. I could see what they were doing. They made very interesting tiers of formations. They had depth in their formations. They told a story. That beginning was so captivating and drew me in, and I was able to enjoy what I was watching the whole time. Here, I saw what they were going for, but it was a situation where they were so not on the same page that even if they worked tirelessly, you're still gonna have some of those discrepancies just from sheer lack of time and muscle memory to get it in for everybody to be on the same page. That's how off in posture they were. So that's why I would give my vote to Prowdmon, even under these circumstances, but it's not because of the things that I've already stated before. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way. If you want more Street Woman Fighter content, whether it's season 1 or season 2, you can head over to Patreon to get ad-free content as well as early release. As I record videos, I post them there first. Also, there is a chance that some of these clips that you see from any challenges, they may be copyrighted and blocked on YouTube. They are unblocked on Patreon. If there's a particular challenge you wanted me to look at, it may be there. So you can definitely check that out. But I'm always looking forward to the discussions on these videos, and this one is no different. And I will check you guys on the flip side. Bye.